A small, raggedy comic shop, closing time, shutters down, door shutter half down to stop anyone entering. 2 customers left. A teenager tries to decide whether he can afford the copy of Hero Killers he holds. Can't. Really wants it. Is thinking of nicking it. The clerk keeps an eye on him. Suddenly a man, Lee, ducks in under the shutter.
We're closed.
Lee is about 25. He carries a garish yellow sports bag, incongruous with his suit. Arby ducks in, pulls the shutter down after him. Arby is in his 40s, sweatpants, an old white t-shirt, soft eyes, looks like he might go bus spotting. Arby heads to the counter.
What? No, look, we're closed. What are you doing?
Come here a minute.
Without really knowing why, the young man does. Arby places a tatty shred of paper on the counter. Something is scrawled on it.
Like this.
Lee adjusts the young man, making sure he's in the right place, gently turning him like a barber might turn a head.
What's the matter with you? I just said we're closed.
Lee cracks the pipe down on the young man's skull. The teenager stupidly says, "Oh no," as if a drink had been spilled. The clerk recoils as the boy collapses unconscious. Arby has not even blinked. Whenever you approach violence, you have to approach it like it's violence. It should be shocking, it should be brutal, and it should be horrific.
Violence in itself is, quite a weird thing because it forces you to look at things in a different way, doesn't it?
It's actually a violent thing we're talking about. The world that we are suggesting will come about is a violent place.
The violence in the programme reflects the violence that, people are exposed to on a wider scale, globally, nationally. That's explored in microcosm in the series.
You need a threat of death, a threat of torture, the threat of mass killings is very real, and to do that in a tame way, if we didn't present, if there was a threat of violence but you never really saw it, but never really existed, I don't think it would be, you can't dilute that if you really want to impact on people.
In certain situations it acts as a catalyst for the drama.
Just from a story point of view, the network, it was important to sort of say that they would do anything to achieve their aims.
It's a very extreme story, but yet Dennis Kelly, the writer, has managed to make it all seem fairly plausible.
Very often in sort of conspiracy thrillers, they're cops or they're people that have got something to do with politics, or and they're also very capable, or they become very capable. And I wanted our guys not to be that capable, because I don't think I am. So I sort of thought, what would it be like if it was happening to me? I would sort of not know what to do, and I think, who do I talk to make it stop?
What I like is that it's the group, I think they're a group of very, very normal people dealing with really, really extraordinary events, and watching what people do under stress and strain is, I think, as an actor, it's very, very interesting to play those roles.
I believe my job as a writer is to create characters that I care very much about and then do shit things to them. That's sort of what the job is, really. The reason why I do shit things to them, I suppose, is because when bad things happen to people, that's when you kind of find out who you are. Those are the moments that are sort of interesting to us. It is important to sort of just have elements of human life in there, so that we remember we are talking about real people, and it kind of balances, it sort of balances the things that are dark. I thought it would be a good idea to put a kind of love story in there. I felt it would be interesting to sort of see 2 people in this really extreme circumstances sort of kind of fall for each other. Love stories are amazing, but sometimes they're a bit, they make you a bit sick, and I didn't want that.
They meet in the pub and they end up shagging that night, and it's really drunken and really messy.
They're totally drunk, they're tearing each other's clothes off, and they get a bit stuck and they fall on each other, and in the end it doesn't work because the guy's too drunk. I wanted a sex scene, but I wanted it fucked up, to be honest with you. I wanted it sort of, I didn't want it to be easy. And also their relationship isn't that easy as well.
My penis isn't working.
The difficult thing with Utopia has been to sort of balance the quite extreme ideas that are behind it, that there is this conspiracy, there is this organisation called the Network, hopefully to make that feel real, and then to balance it with some sort of quite mad stuff. There are children in Utopia.
Pleased to meet you, Grant. Alice.
I think bringing a child into this world at the moment is a very scary thing. We all look at children that are being born today and we wonder what the future will be for them.
Dugdale and his wife, they can't have children. They've been trying for years. And the desire to have a child is one of the things that drives Dugdale on.
The character of Michael Dugdale does everything he does to have a child, and that's a very human thing. People really needing and wanting to reproduce. But also there's a kind of little mini love story between Grant and Alice, which isn't really a love story. It's a sort of a friendship that, you know, at the beginning of what might be a love story, just when you're getting old enough to understand what love stories are.
When they first met Alice and Grant, he was just like, oh, you go away from me and stuff like that. But now he's really close to her. I think he loves Alice. He loves her to pieces.
Something that runs through Utopia is this idea of whether the ends justifies the means or not.
The network are dealing in a sort of idea of utilitarianism, which is this idea of greatest good for greatest number of people, but usually when you give a few people a lot of power, they don't work for the greatest good, they just work towards their own ends.
You see characters conflicted about what they should and shouldn't do. The sort of dilemma that the network throws forward is whether it's right to do some really terrible things for the right reasons. If you don't kill people, you kill billions of people in the future, and they think that killing people in that situation is right. So there is this theme of, like, you know, do the ends justify the means, I guess. There is a big question that we are facing and that we don't really know what to do about, and that is overpopulation in our future. How do we continue on this planet? We're in an unsustainable position, and even if you don't believe in things like global warming, even just fish is a problem. By the year 2050, it's very likely there won't be any seafood. The network, who are the sort of the people that kind of run the conspiracy in Utopia, put forward a very sinister solution, yet I don't know what other solutions there are.
Oh, we're running out of space, we're running out of food, we're running out of oil. What's going to happen? We're all just going to start robbing each other, and we're going to become this feral sort of race around the world. Is that going to happen, or is that just fiction? Is that in Dennis Kelly's mind? It's terrifying to think that that's reality.
This year we passed 7 billion on the planet, which is a big milestone. I'm not suggesting what we do is we go out and sterilise people. I don't have an answer. It's just about asking the questions, really.
And there are lots of different things that different people believe. Some people call them conspiracies, other people believe that they're absolutely true. I would imagine that there's a bit of both.
I'm surprised by the things that people do believe. And then with the Hillsborough inquiry lately, I was very, very shocked to discover that there had been a conspiracy to cover up the truth. A widespread conspiracy. Perhaps I'm just being naive.
The thing about conspiracy theories is there are tons of them out there. It has grown in the past sort of 20 years to epic proportions. I was telling a friend of mine about Utopia, and it was right at the beginning of it. She immediately said, yeah, because did you hear that thing about swine flu? There was a thing going around that they were hiding something in it to sterilise people, and I thought, Christ, that's exactly what I've just made up. They're sort of rich conspiracy theories. You can find all sorts of interesting things in them. I generally don't believe them myself, though.
Good writing, while you're being entertained, it allows you the space in your head to ask some questions.
As a writer, when you're writing something, you don't know all the answers. You're exploring a bunch of stuff. Hopefully you're exploring that with the audience and you're exploring it together. All society is a conversation that we are constantly having together, whether we're doing it in the street, in the pub, whether we're doing it through TV. I think people like thinking more than we give ourselves credit for, you know. It's something we just enjoy. We enjoy looking at the possibilities of things.